In this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet this popcorn stitch. It's one of the various ways you can crochet bobbles. You work them on the wrong side of the fabric so that the stitches pop out on the right side of the fabric. I've worked this particular swatch of popcorn stitch in half double crochet. So I've got 2 rows of half double crochet and then I've got 2 half double crochet between each popcorn, and that's US turns. So I'll show you how to work the stitch. So I'm just going to start my row with 2 half double crochet. I chain 2 at the beginning, which I've not counted as a stitch. So all you do in this example, I'm going to use a repeat of 4. So I'm going to work 4 normal double crochet into the same stitch. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's my 4 double crochet. I'm just going to pull that loop up a little bit, and then I'm going to remove my hook. And I take it, I'm going to insert my hook from back to front in that first double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's in that first. Then I'm just going to catch that loop back onto my hook, pull that tight, and then I'm just going to pull that through, and that creates my popcorn stitch. So what it does, it gathers those 4 doubles into a little ball, and I'm going to work 2 half double crochet. The stitches after your popcorns kind of seal the stitch and give it some more shape. So then I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So that is my popcorn. You can see why they call it popcorn, because of the way it's got kind of an uneven surface. When you go back to working it, which I will demonstrate on the next row, so there's my first 2 double crochets. Sorry, these are my first 2 half double crochets. This little stitch here, where I pulled through the first half double, that is my stitch that I'm going to work into. So you can see it's a little bit squashed. Then these are my 2 half double crochets that I worked afterwards. So I'll show you that stitch again. It feels like it's a bit of a faff to make, but once you get into it, I find it really therapeutic to work these stitches. So I'm going to work 4 half double crochets into that same stitch, into this one here. You could work with a repeat of 3 or even 5, and that will change the size of your popcorn stitch. The other thing that changes the size of your stitches is the height of the stitches you work either side. So I've worked half doubles here. You could work doubles or even singles, and that would all change the look. So that's my 4 doubles. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pull that loop up a little bit, and then I'm going to insert my hook from back to front. So back to front as it faces me. This is obviously the front of the work, but in terms of the stitch, it's from back to front, so it's towards me. Under that that first of 4, I'm going to just catch the loop, pull that tight, and then I'm just going to pull that through to complete my stitch. And you can see this bit, which is the part you work into, that is the top of the first of the 4 doubles. So I'll just work 2 more half doubles. So you can see the height of that half double kind of pulls the stitch down a bit, and that creates this really 3D stitch. Let's do 1 more. So 4 doubles in that stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull that loop up a little bit, take it off the hook, put your hook back to front towards you under the 2 loops of the first double crochet. I use this finger just to push that stitch to catch my loop, and then pull that through. Then I'm going to work 2 half doubles to finish my row. So you can see how 3D these stitches are, they're incredible. These are probably the most sticky outy, for a better word, but these are probably the most extra of the different types of bobble stitches you can make. They're probably closest to the cluster stitch, which I also have a tutorial for, but they really are a kind of unique stitch. I love the popcorn stitch. It's a really fun textural decorative stitch. So I've got my 11 stitches to work back into. So you can see this is my chain of chain 2, which I'm not going to count as a stitch. So my first stitch goes in there, my second goes in there, that's those 2 half doubles, and then I'm going to work a half double in this one here, which is the top of my popcorn, then that one, that's the top of the next popcorn, those 2, that's the top of that first popcorn, and we'll finish with those 2. I just wanted to show you that because it's often, these are the places where people actually get stuck with these stitches. So that's 2 half doubles into the top of the popcorn, half double into the 2 half doubles, half double into the top of that popcorn stitch, half double into the 2 half doubles, and half double into that first popcorn stitch. The way you work it also stops there being any kind of holes behind the stitch, so it's quite nice the way the fabric doesn't have any kind of gaps. So that's my 2 half doubles in the last 2 stitches. There's my little row of 3 popcorn stitches. These are great to work in contrasting colours or in stripes, or just for a little bit of texture to your project. You can see it still remains flat at the back, so popcorn stitches are great for wearables because that will still sit nicely against your skin. The other thing to mention with the popcorn stitches, you can see, if you look at the bottom couple of rows, you can see this is pulled the side of the work in a little bit. Now I've only got 3 stitches here, so it's not a big deal, but if I'm working a whole row of popcorns, it's going to pull it in, so it's always good to bear that in mind. The reason it does it is because when you pull that loop through to close off your 4 doubles, that's a little tighter stitch. So this stitch that we work into at the back of the popcorn, that's a little tighter than the other stitches, and this sort of bulk tends to scrunch it up. So that's something to be aware of, but there we have the popcorn stitch.